Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
The news comes at you fast.
America's Food and Drug Administration have said that Trump was incorrect.
There's information and misinformation.
Their own NAFDAC came out and told Donald Trump, "We're gonna be waiting me where you talk. Now you talk and with by yourself. We tell you it's okay."
And making sense of it can be hard.
Kayode, I will let you talk. Kayode, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Kayode.
But that's my job. Let's talk context. Let's talk statistics.
Talk about those bills at the Senate right now.
Let's talk to the experts and the newsmakers.
I see the kind of stability that would allow growth to happen by this time next year.
Every weekday at 3.
Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili.
Let's talk hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. More than 22,000 confirmed cases in Nigeria. Yesterday in Lagos alone, we had 250 new cases. 250. This thing is not over, people, so I beg. And you heard me when I was bringing the news update to you. I was telling you that it was samples. So Nigeria has done over 120,000 tests. Just samples. They've not tested more than 120,000 people. They've tested more than 120,000 samples. And of these numbers you're hearing out of Lagos, the samples that have been tested in Lagos, 34,700. I'm repeating these numbers so that you can hear how much Nigeria is not testing. And so please, be careful. Treat this thing as personal salvation matter. You get? Wear your mask, wash your hand. Be careful out there. I have a great show for 500,000 of you, all 500,000 of you. Yes, I won't get tired of saying that. We're starting with the big three. Let's talk about the latest in the APC leadership battle. Victor Giadom called a NEC meeting today, which the president said that he'll attend, but the NWC is angry about. Then let's talk about the Edo PDP gubernatorial primaries today. And we'll also talk about the federal government's new guidelines for reopening schools. These are our big three. Now, remember, you can talk to us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. We've got WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. And because it's Thursday, we're going to bring you League of Extraordinary Nigerians as well as Eyewitness. So if there's something happening in your part of Lagos that you think everybody needs to hear about, Eyewitness is when you call and bring it to our attention. Eyewitness happens at 4:30 every Thursday. On today's Big Hard Fact, let's talk about the Nigerian oil and gas sector. NNPC just released audited accounts, something that they don't usually do. So we'll talk about how NNPC is performing, and we'll talk about what the future of the entire industry looks like. I'll have the chief economist at PwC join us on the show, and it's going to be great. So make sure that you're tuned in at that time. Of course, there's new news updates at the top of every hour, and you have to listen to every part of the show so that you can stand a chance of winning during just a minute. Let's bring you today's Big Three.
This is the Big Three.
The big three.
On Hard Facts.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Will Buhari's involvement end the APC leadership crisis? Is there a difference between these political parties, the APC, the PDP? Is there a difference between them? And can your child's school build an isolation center? Those are the big three. Let's talk. The APC's National Working Committee has just been dissolved. You've already heard that. And that's our first story. The APC's NEC meeting had the president attending, and he wasn't alone. The vice president was there, Yemi Oshibajo, he was there. A lot of APC governors were there as well. So you had governors of Nasarawa, Niger, Jigawa, Plateau, Imo, Kogi, Yobe, Gombe, Osun, Ogun, Lagos, Kwara, Kebbi, Kano, even Ekiti. Also at this meeting were Deputy Senate President Ovie Omo-Agege, Deputy Speaker Idris Wase, House Leader Hassan Dogowa, and the Deputy Chief Whip, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Nnenna Ukeje. Now, at first, we were not sure whether the Adams Oshomole faction of the party would attend the NEC meeting, but they did, because Hope Uzodinma was there. The governor of Imo State, he was there. And of course, Uzodinma is one of the leaders of the Oshomole faction. Right? That's why part of the APC Edo Exco rejected him as the chairman of the monitoring committee for the primaries. But well, here we are. The NEC meeting held. And the NEC, with the president in attendance, dissolved the National Working Committee of the party. Let me explain a few things before we move ahead. The NEC is the main executive of the party, right? It's the main executive body of the party. They have full executive power. But the NEC cannot meet all the time. It was the party chairman, the president, the governors, senate leaders, etc. These people are busy people. So the NEC appoints a National Working Committee, the NWC, to act on its behalf on a day-to-day basis. So the NWC answers to the NEC, and that's why the NEC could dissolve them today. I needed you to have that context before you call me and we have a conversation about this. Now, the NEC did not stop there. They actually set up a caretaker committee chaired by the governor of Yobe State, His Excellency Mai Malabuni. And in 6 months, the party is going to call an extraordinary convention to resolve the crisis and restructure. As for Edo State, the NEC has agreed to accept the results of the primary, and so Osage Ezeyamu is the party flag bearer. So that's the situation in the APC right now as the meeting comes to an end. President Buhari has given legitimacy both to Victor Giadom's decisions and to the APC primary in Edo. And now, this caretaker committee will manage things for 6 months until the extraordinary convention. Now, the question, of course, becomes, will this decision help to keep the peace in the party? What do you think about the APC NEC decisions? 0700 993 993 993. What do you think about scrapping the NWC and putting in place a caretaker committee? What do you think about that? WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. What about the decision to uphold the Edo primary? Because remember that Victor Giadom was saying initially that because he didn't constitute the committee that oversaw that primary, he would consider that primary null and void. But now we have that primary standing. Do you think the President Buhari, has ended the crisis? 0700 993 993 993. Everybody gets 2 minutes to talk. 2 minutes, that's what you get. And we're going to take as many calls as we can. 99.3.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
I'm calling from Festac.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, every smart person will know that this is what will happen. It's unfortunate that people do not understand that politics is a game of brain. It's a brain game. You understand? The only mistake they have made legally is to invalidate the primaries done in Edo. That primary is null and void ab initio. Those that conducted that primary lack the legal capacity to conduct that primary. Because the order that recognized Victor Giadom said that whatever Oshomole did between November 2019 till the day he was removed stands illegal. So I praise APC for bringing the party back from those who have hijacked that for their personal ambitions. But this issue of Yamu is like setting themselves up for a battle. Although I know that Yamu will not win Edo State, he stands better chance under a PDP candidacy than what a one-man or Somole would have done. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping the time exactly. 99.3.
Hello.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
Yeah. Good afternoon, Sandra. Ikenna speaking.
Welcome, Ikenna. You've got 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's interesting what's happening APC, and I must state that whatever is happening, bearing in mind elections coming up in 2023. Everybody is just trying to take position. We know the main contender, the main person who is interested in capturing the presidency. And people are trying to see how they can shut that person out. The National Working Committee has been dissolved now. So let's see what happens in the next 6 months when new appointments will be made. Let's see where APC goes from there. I just believe that the battle has started. It's all for 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for keeping to time as well. 99.3. Hello, good afternoon. Can you speak up, please? What's your name?
18 from Satellite.
Welcome. Your 2 minutes has started. Go.
I have to thank our leader, Mamadou Buhari, for restoring peace to the party temper. Or the other version of Adam Shumali, because according to the party constitution, before you summon a next meeting, you have to give 2 weeks pre-notice to all the members for this. So they call it an emergency matter of immediate necessity. So if Adam Shumali fashion, the while dissolve the committee, will not go to court to challenge the result. For in as much as they have endorsed it, it's not going to be acknowledged. So even Obaseki that defends the PDP, there's a possibility that we talk back since Adam Shumuli is no longer the national chairman. So those who are guilty, they should not be here.
All right. And see, he kept it well under 2 minutes. 99.3.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
My name is Prince YS, calling from Amuodofin.
Welcome to the show. You've got 2 minutes.
They've taken a right issue. I support it. Yesterday when I had the news, I was doubting what is still going on. But as it is now, also mother is not born with a party chairman. If I have done best, it is only those things that lost the opportunity now. Let another person emerge. As it is, the president has taken a right decision. The Oseyami governorship stay. The caretaker committee to organize the extraordinary confession. And as it is, nobody lives. And I want it to look like this. For me, I'm at home with that decision taken now from us Europe. Very fantastic decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prince YS. Everyone's maintaining the time today. I like it. What's your name, sir?
Good morning. This is Mr. Thompson.
Welcome, Mr. Thompson. You've got 2 minutes.
Just like this is the man that just spoke. I think the right decision. And that primaries is going to stand because Giadom is going to withdraw that letter that he has written to INEC since they have given him recognition now. So he will not want the party to have a problem with the election. So let's wait and see what will happen in Edo. It's a good decision. This is exactly what the president is supposed to be doing. Not until they, worry him or disturb him before he will act. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. All right, Lagos. Our second story is Governor Obaseki. He has won the Edo State PDP gubernatorial primary. That's information we are getting from the field. We're hearing that his final opponent stepped down immediately the primary started. So technically, Obaseki was unopposed. So what an interesting few days for Obaseki, huh? A couple of weeks ago, he was the incumbent governor, a member of the APC, planning for his re-election. Next thing, bam! His party disqualifies him from contesting. Suddenly, he's defecting to the PDP to keep his ambitions alive. PDP gives him a waiver, but bam! The other aspirants drag him to court. Today, court order. Tomorrow, another court order. And then the party steps in and tries to mediate. And then suddenly, his opponents withdraw the court case yesterday and say that they're going to settle out of court. And it looks like they did settle out of court because all of them dropped out from the race. And Obaseki is now the nominee. And I want to know what you think about the entire saga. I mean, he just went from one major party to the other in the space of a few days. And the PDP has given him the nomination. The other day, when my guests were on Hard Facts, on the Big Hard Fact, I was asking them about all the things that PDP said about Obaseki in the past. Didn't the PDP mean those things? They accused him of raping democracy. And now they've given him the ticket. The so-called democracy raper, the rapist of democracy, has their ticket. Obaseki himself has insulted the PDP so many times in the past while campaigning. But now, when the APC denied him his ambition, he very quickly, very happily joined the PDP. And some observers will say that this is proof that political statements are not sincere. And I wonder if you agree. I wonder if there's a lesson there for people who are supporters of political parties and politicians. Is there a lesson in there? If you're a neutral person, is there a lesson in there? You know, you're neutral, you don't support the parties. Is there a lesson there? Or you're a supporter of the parties, of one party or the other. Is there a lesson in there, do you think? Because I find a lot of things about this fascinating. One of the things I find fascinating is the PDP candidates who stepped down for Obaseki and the delegates who voted for Obaseki. Imagine if Obaseki had not come to the PDP. Seriously, imagine if APC had not disqualified him and he got the APC ticket instead. One of these PDP aspirants who has now stepped down for Obaseki would have been the party flag bearer. And that person would have gone up against Obaseki. And that person would have said Obaseki is a bad governor and he doesn't deserve a second term. But now, not only does Obaseki deserve a second term, he deserves it so much that this person has stepped down for him. Funny, isn't it? Funny. So Obaseki is the PDP candidate for now. And Yamu is the APC candidate for now. Now, remember, I keep telling you that both these men were the candidates 4 years ago, but for the opposite party. They've switched sides. And so during this campaign, everything they say will be about their opponent's party. And the things that they say about their opponent's party this year is what they said about their own party 4 years ago. Obaseki will insult the APC this year in the same way he insulted the PDP in 2016, and vice versa. Same for Yamu. We saw it happen in Akwa Ibom, right? We saw Senator Akpabio get on the stage and say, "How many years of PDP?" When I was watching the campaign, I said, "Excuse me, Oga, you were in the PDP until like 3 seconds ago." And it makes me ask the question, is there a fundamental difference between the two parties? Sheriff touched on this subject on Tuesday. He touched on this issue on the Morning Crossfire when he was talking about ideology. And he will talk about it again next week. Because think about it. If Obaseki felt that there was a big difference between PDP and APC, and that this big difference was tied to his personal beliefs, would he feel comfortable defecting to the PDP? Would Izeyamu feel comfortable defecting to the APC? We see at the highest level of our politics, the players are very comfortable switching parties, but they also keep telling us that the party they are members of this month is the good one. And then next month, when they're not in that party anymore, that party is now bad. Is there really a difference? 0700-993-993-993. What do you think about the fact that both the APC and PDP flag bearers were the flag bearers of their opponents 4 years ago? WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. You can leave us a comment on Facebook. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3, and you can tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM. Tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM. If you just joined the show, you're listening to the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. I've told you that the APC looks like they've resolved their leadership crisis, and I've also told you that in Edo State, the PDP has given their ticket to Obaseki. We have one more story on today's Big Three. Don't go away.
Stay right here on the Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Big Three.
The Big Three on Hard Facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
What do you think about Obaseki getting the PDP ticket? What do you think about his opponent stepping down for him? What do you think about the fact that both APC and PDP flag bearers were the flag bearers of their opponents 4 years ago? 0700-993-993-993. 2 minutes, that's all you get. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Sandra.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
I'm doing well, thank you. My name is Chika.
Welcome, Chika.
Well, you asked the question if there's a difference between PDP and APC. Frankly speaking, there's no difference at all. Because what would have constituted the difference is ideology. But we know that there is no ideology in this part of the world when it comes to party politics. And that is why you can see politician A going to party B tomorrow without any rancor or any differences. In 2011, I remember vividly then, ACN then, which was tagged as a progressive party, adopted former President Goodluck Jonathan as their candidate. So it's not despite in the fact that they have a candidate. So for me, like I said 2 days ago, when they said that someone took Obaseki to court, I thought that it's going to be a walkaway for Obaseki. And today that is what has actually happened. For me, the only time that a sitting governor lost a primary election was with the former governor of Lagos State, in the person of Akim Mbode. No governor has ever lost a primary. So I don't think it's actually a big deal for me. So congratulations to Obaseki. Let's see how it pans out during the general election. And for the APC, it reminds me of a book by Kalmeya, This House Has Fallen, Nigeria in Crisis. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling and sharing your thoughts and also keeping to time. We appreciate it. On Facebook, you can share your thoughts with us. Nigeria Info 99.3. Hello. 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 Okay, sorry about that. Call us back if you can. We've got Grace Oladejo on Twitter who says, Edo PDP, so obvious they settled back door. Only God knows the conditions attached to his emerging unopposed. Schools meeting up with the federal government's guidelines for reopening. I don't see them meeting up with the requirements, not with the current state of the economy. Jana Dollar says, I'm happy that Adams Oshomole was retired successfully today. The difference between APC and PDP is the logo on the party flag. Congratulations to Obaseki. Adams gone for good. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my name is Fidelis.
Fidelis, your time has started.
I'm calling from my 12.
All right.
I want to congratulate the Obaseki. I want to congratulate him. And I think whatever has transpired between him and his opponent in PDP, for me, I really don't care to know. But truth be told, I really want to urge the people of Edo State to give him his support. My reason still remains that at least it will put a stop to this godfatherism in politics. I wish it was the same thing that happens in Lagos State then, that I think will weaken the power of people who feel that they are on top and they own every authority with them. For me, I am happy for him. And I beg people of Edo State to please give him his maximum support. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you for keeping to time. 99.3.
Hello, Sandra. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
My name is Obino.
Obino, welcome.
The man who saws tomorrow. When I told you that Basket will match victoriously. Yes, I'm very happy to hear the news.
Okay.
That, yes, that is an unopposed year. And secondly, he will surely win Edo State by the grace of God.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. And I want to add something. You see, when you do something, before you, it's a shot. But if it's for you, it's corruption. So, regarding to what they are saying, that as of last year, Obaseki was campaigning against PDP. But this year now, he will campaign against APC. That is very bad. Thank you and have a nice day.
You too. Thanks for calling. 99.3. Hello?
Yeah, Sandra, thank you for taking my call. I am Ruben, calling from Ibadan.
Welcome, Ruben.
Yeah. If you think that you are a political scientist, you are a professor, and you have understand the politics, you are just a joke. You don't come to Nigeria. When you come to Nigeria, it will defy all that is happening here in Nigeria. That is on a lighter note there. For PDP, I think that it is very good for them there, because going into the main election with a full force in unity, understand, it's a very good thing.
Okay.
In politics, what is happening here in Nigeria here is that there is no ideology. Just let's grab the power. Anyhow, we are going to get it there. That is what informed the PDP in choosing accepting Obaseki, because they know that he stands a better chance there. If they have, and he has only 1 term, and after the 4 years there, even the contenders that are here, they stand a better chance. So they cannot even think of, defecting to APC. That if APC eventually wins, the candidate there still has 8 years. So those are the things that will make PDP go into this election in unity, in full force, in order to get the
ticket.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thanks for keeping to time. 99.3. Okay.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? Good afternoon.
I am fine. Well done.
Thank you.
Please, I am Jonathan from Agege.
Welcome, Jonathan.
I am just happy. I'm happy for everything. I am happy for Baseki, and I pray that he will make it to put Oshomole and Comrade Akpat into shape. Like they say, one day, every day for the thief, one day for the owner.
Comrade Akpan? Who's Comrade Akpan?
That is their fans that always supported evil. And I pray that God will put them into shape. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do I know this Comrade Atman that he speaks of? On Twitter, we've got no fundamentals, no principles, no ideology, no agenda, no self-respect. It's all about personal interest. Our dummy, I don't care attitude and silence will make us and generations to come pay for this ill governance. We've got somebody else who says that Sandra is always sympathetic to the APC. So I'm not sympathetic to the PDP today. Okay, well, thank God. You know, my allegiances change from day to day. One day you will accuse me of being sympathetic to the APC. Another day you say I'm sympathetic to the PDP. Pick a side already, people. That's how you know I'm doing it right. If both sides are accusing me of supporting both sides, then I'm doing it right. We've got Joseph who says that Buhari knows how to restore peace to the APC, but he never thinks of solution to the insecurity of the country. We've got Married to Music who says that the federal government needs to reduce the guidelines. I beg, it's too much. Speaking of guidelines, let's bring you our third story. It's about the federal government's guidelines for reopening schools. Now, remember, the federal government is not taking the decision to reopen schools. They're not doing that. They've told the state governments that it is up to them. So when a state feels that they are ready, they can reopen schools. But the federal government is saying, here are some minimum requirements. If your schools don't meet them, don't let them open. But if they meet the requirements, but you still don't want to open, that's okay as well. It's up to you. Now, the Punch published some of the federal government's guidelines, and according to them, that's the Punch, they got their hands on the document itself. And here's what the guidelines say. Here's what they say the guidelines contain. First, every school must create a temporary isolation center. That way, if a pupil or teacher falls sick, they can be separated from everyone else. Next, every school must have a fully equipped and supplied clinic with qualified staff. So that probably means a nurse. Next, the schools should have a written protocol for what to do if somebody falls ill. I'm guessing they expect the school to train all staff using that written protocol. And then the school must have a referral system in place. So basically, the school should have set up a system, set up a connection with the state healthcare system to refer any suspected cases. Now, I'm sure that there are more guidelines, more conditions in the guidelines. And once we have them, I'm going to share them with you. But let's talk about these ones that we now know about. Do you think that your child's school will be able to set up an isolation center and a fully equipped clinic? Do you think that's going to happen? I'm asking because these things cost money, Abby. Right now, some schools are doing e-learning and some schools are not doing e-learning because they can't afford to set it up. Now, I'm not a medical expert, but I am guessing that setting up a fully equipped and supplied clinic is much more expensive than setting up e-learning, right? So if these guidelines are adopted by states, we will probably see a situation where most schools will still remain closed simply because they cannot meet the requirements. And I want to know what you think about that. But there's another question. There's the question of whether or not these guidelines actually address the problem. Because I've been reading some commentary about this, and a lot of people are saying that when it comes to children, the problem is stopping the spread, not treating the symptoms. Because so far, children who have COVID-19 are far less likely to get very sick. So they think that having clinics and isolation centers in every school is probably overkill. People are saying instead, how about you use that money to do something else? Instead, that money that you want to spend to build isolation centers and build clinics, you can put it in other things to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 from child to child. Right? And I wonder what you think about that. So, for example, let me give you an example, right? You have, for instance, a child who gets this virus, right? And they're unable to stay away from their friends. They're unable to stop playing with their friends, right? Right? So if you have something like screens between desks, that's what I've heard some experts suggest, and that's something I've seen happening in other countries. You have screens between desks so that the children don't spread droplets to each other. That may be a more sensible thing to do than, say, for instance, build isolation centers or equip your clinics. I don't know. Because we want to make sure that the steps that we are taking are actually useful. We want to spend our resources tackling the biggest problems. So with schools, the big problem is not children falling sick, because most of them will not fall sick. The big problem is stopping the spread from child to child. And since most schools are Kokuma day schools, most of the children who fall sick are simply going to go home anyway. So that's not the big problem. The big problem is spreading the virus to each other, COVID-19 to each other, and then bringing it home. So you have a situation where one child has it, brings it to school, infects all the other children, infects like 80 children, and then they take it home and they infect their relatives who are older and who are in greater danger. How do we avoid that? That's where the idea of screens come in, screens in classes, so that the kids don't sneeze or spit on each other. So we have to ask ourselves, should the schools be using the money to set up screens and other barriers in the classrooms instead of building isolation centers and clinics? If you're a school owner, if you're a proprietor, I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about these guidelines? Do you think schools can follow these guidelines, even if you're not a proprietor? If you're a parent, do you think they can follow these guidelines? Do you think that schools will be able to allocate isolation centers and set up fully equipped clinics? Or do you think most schools will end up staying closed if these guidelines are adopted? And what do you think about the guidelines themselves? Do you think it's overkill? Do you think it's a sign of seriousness? Do you think the focus should be on making classrooms contagion proof? 0700-993-993. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Everyone gets 2 minutes. That's all you get. And you can see that people are saying a lot in the 2 minutes that we're giving them, right? So let's maintain the time. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Twitter is Nigeria Info FM. And WhatsApp is 0809-5975-805. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
This is Sunday from Lekki.
Welcome. You've got 2 minutes.
Okay, for me, I don't think the schools are able to do that.
Okay.
For a school to be like a repair center, I think I don't think it's possible, because even though some few schools can be able to do that, the parents will not be able to pay for the school fees.
Pay the school fees.
And I don't think the parents will be able to take their children to that. And in fact, the government too, they are even judging from their responsibility. It's not supposed to be a school to be an isolated center. It's very, very unfair. They are dodging their responsibility. For that. That's what I know.
Okay. Well, thank you for sending your message in. We'll take 2 more calls and then move to WhatsApp. 99.3.
Hello.
How are you, sir? What's your name?
Hi, my name is Mr. Doctor. I'm calling from K2.
Good to have you on the show. You've got 2 minutes.
Yeah. The laid down procedure is not possible because, one, what of those that are in the hotel? What are they going to do if they do that one? And what will happen to the children if they contract this disease among the virus? It is very, very impossible. If government should think twice to make sure that he put another procedure down for the period, because it's not going to be able to bear this cost and everything.
Okay, think twice. The guidelines are too much. They may be impossible, he says. 99.3. Hi, what's your name?
Once again.
Okay, you've got 2 minutes.
Well, I think this policy is quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate in the sense that what government, both at the federal and state, have not been able to do is what they're actually advising schools to do. Now, let's put away the issue of finance. Sandra, you and I know that most schools in Lagos State doesn't even have the land mass to constitute a school. So some of these schools that doesn't even have a party space or playing ground for the children, where would they find the land or the space to construct this isolation center? And the government have constantly told us that the whole isolation centers are full, that they are running out of money, out of funds and everything. They start treating people at home. Why are they now expecting schools, each and every school to construct an isolation center? I think it's a failure of government. And this is not unacceptable. It's time for various civil organizations, non-governmental organizations, civil society to rise up and protest against this obnoxious rules and obnoxious policy by the government. Because with this, what the government is trying to do is actually shut out some of the schools from the business of what they're doing. It's completely irresponsible from the part of government. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling me. All right, let's take a look at WhatsApp messages. Remember, I said I was going to take 2 calls and then go to WhatsApp. On WhatsApp, we have Mr. Ugo, who says, schools that cannot set up e-learning, pay teachers well. Parents who can hardly pay school fees before now. How much more now? Children who must play and mingle. These guidelines will be difficult to be sustained. Screens will not work. Government is just sitting on the fence. They are applying the make you no spoil for my hand tactics by putting it in the hands of state government. Is it a public school in Ajegunle that will build isolation centers? Irresponsibility of government, Mr. Ugo says. I think that's just a way of government to say, if you insist on opening, you know how somebody says, I want to give you this money, I swear I want to give you this money, but I went and did this fixed deposit yesterday, so I don't have money in my hand again, but I really want to give you this money. So they don't want to give you the money, but they have to give you a good reason. That's probably what government is doing here. Government is saying, we don't think schools should open yet, but you want your school to open. These are the things you have to do for the schools to open. If you can afford to do those things, I'm going to open your school. First things first, your state government even has to approve that your school should open. That's probably what's going on here. We've got Samson in Idumu who says, I think government is confused. I think that allowing the schools to screen the children and provide the children with transparent face covers will be better. Some countries have opened up their schools already, and none of them have given this kind of stringent conditions. All that have been seen is that schools have provided children with face covers to prevent spread. Samson, thank you for calling me. But again, we have these countries that have better healthcare systems than we do. Nigeria doesn't even have up to 30,000 cases yet, and our healthcare centers and our hospitals are overwhelmed. We can't even handle the outbreak anymore at less than 30,000 cases. 30,000 confirmed cases. There may be more. So maybe this is what is informing their choice. I don't know. We've got another message here. Ogechi from Akute says, the federal government's guidelines for reopening, I bet you some schools can afford to meet up the guidelines because I know that my school can. As a teacher, the problem about controlling pupils and students from having contact with each other, it's not easy. Okay. Well, Ogechi is a supporter of this thing. She says some schools can do it. Would it be okay to address you as Miss or Madam Ezekwesili? Anyone is fine. Miss, Madam, it's all okay. Indeed, the difference between PDP and APC in the context of Obaseki and Izeyamu could simply be pitched from this afternoon's analysis and scrutiny of the chameleonic. I've learned a new word today. Chameleonic nature of these two men in Nigerian politics. The politics of opportunists, politics of swashbucklers, politics of swaggerers. Good afternoon. Who's this person that's giving me tongue twister, I beg? But thank you for sending your message in. I love reading from you. Hello, Sandra. My name is Mercy from Apapa. You've pointed it all out. Building of isolation centers by a school is, for me, a misplacement of priorities. If the government knows that schools cannot contain the spread of this virus amongst children, they shouldn't even try to lift the bans on schools. Biko, okay. Chidi in Ikoyi says that PDP giving Obaseki the ticket unopposed is not good because anything can happen to him tomorrow. But I'm not wishing him bad, though. If that happens, the second or third person will take over. All right, I'll take one more message on WhatsApp. And then we'll go over to Facebook because I'm sure that a lot of people are leaving their thoughts for me on Facebook as well. If you haven't, Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Make sure you like the page, first of all, and then go ahead and leave your thoughts on our live stream post. We've got Ben in Satellite Town who says that this government is a huge joke. Even the government has not been able to equip their own hospital with all the resources they control. All they know is to dish out instructions that they cannot afford. The truth of the matter is that they don't care about our education or health care. If they have used the 27 billion that they used in renovating the National Assembly, wouldn't it be able to aid schools to meet up with these conditions? What do people benefit from this government? It is well with Nigeria. Ben from Satellite Town, thank you for sending your message in. Well, it's not 27 billion. We corrected that. It was 9 billion. The budget office claims it's 9 billion, not 27 billion. Sharp Kate Flex says the guidelines for schools, does it include higher institutions? Because that means that federal government will have to remove interstate lockdown. Again, how many schools can really afford to meet up with these guidelines? Thank you, Presido, he says. Joshua Oderinde says the schools will not be able to follow the guidelines because most of them are not even making profit. Imo Otu says, I don't think it will work because it will not favor the owners of the school. Still on Facebook, we've got more thoughts here. God's Power Elekwe says the procedure for schools resumption is a bit too stringent. How many private schools can afford to construct isolation centers, build and equip clinics within that space of time? The government should be realistic. We've got Ismail Oladejo who says, if the government isn't ready to reopen schools, I think they should just let it be. Ismail also says, because what is going to be the fate of these small schools? And will the government themselves be going around to check? Even the people that will be going around to check, I think the government will just find another source of income for them. Chigozie Uche says, instead of all this procedure and regulations, it's better to keep shut most of these schools. They don't even have the space for playgrounds, talk less of isolated clinics. All right, let's come back to the phone lines. Remember, everybody gets 2 minutes, and that way we can take at least 4 calls and wrap up the big 3 today. Hello. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie.
Welcome, Stephanie.
Ow. Sister Sandra, since March, I have been trying to talk to you.
Yay! Welcome. I'm glad you finally got through today.
I listen to you every minute. Oh, my God.
I'm so glad.
Happy.
Me too. I'm happy to talk to you as well.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, for the matter of school, I think all federal universities, state universities, and private universities, they all have clinics. And all the polytechnic, college of education, they all have a school hospital. So, if really they want, like my school, Benin State University, final year students were writing exams. So if really they want to look into the issue of school, they can open the tertiary institution, they can open the university, the polytechnic, the college of education, because they are there's a hospital there already. It's only for them to put it in order. And if they have been putting this place in order, this should not be an issue. But it's because they have not been taking proper care of these things. That is the reason why they are just, going this way, going that way. So if they can open the university and the college and the polytechnic, it will be better then. For this primary school, we'll still wait and see. And for the university, we are all adults. We can take care of ourselves. Then let's start from there. Maybe in August, and then we can still open the primary school. I think it's something they should just look into it and do. Thank you so much. I'm happy.
I'm so happy too. Make sure you call again.
See you. Yes, I will.
Now that you've gotten through the first time, you're going to get through easier next time.
I love you. I will. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Like you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Oh, I love that. All right, let's talk to somebody else on the show. 99.3.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Is it Nigeria Info?
Yes, please. You're talking to Sandra. Welcome.
Well, good afternoon. This is Dr. Adegboye Agusia.
Welcome.
My view is that government is not really sincere.
Okay.
That those terms are not quite realistic. Those children who they suppose are not going to schools, they are going to one form of lesson or the other. And if these children are out of school, eventually it means they will miss 1 year. I would expect that the various state governments should be realistic in their expectations and establish those requirements that can be met by the government and the private school operators. In any case, if the state government, are they even ready with money to provide a social center in each of the public schools? The public schools are congested, so will they be able to provide assistance in those areas? So my view is that government should take it as responsibility to provide those parameters or those conditions that can easily be met and life can return to normal.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor, for calling us. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day. True Talks by Adara says that the main thing schools should look into is how to maintain a steady pace of continuous water supply. It aids to wash our hands and areas around us. Also, government-owned schools should be disinfected generally. Toilets, lavatories must undergo frequent maintenance. And make sure that there's adequate water supply. Health workers should undergo proper training on how to manage and control the curb of the spread in schools. But the issue of water still stands. There must be constant water supply. True Talks by Adara is on Twitter. Joshua Okweze Osolu says no state government school can adhere to these guidelines. So they probably prefer that all private schools will stay shut. I just wonder what the step downers will get for such acts. See, Somix on Twitter says, good afternoon, Sandra. By schools, are the universities included? Because I don't know how they're going to stop the spread if the schools or tertiary institutions open. Let's take, we can't even take one final call. That's all we have time for on the Big Three today. I know you're itching to call and share your thoughts about this school situation. We're going to take a look at schools reopening next week, shall we? Next week at 5, one of those days, we'll talk about it. Don't forget that today at 5, we're going to be talking about the NNPC. They released the reports for their audit. It's something that's never happened before. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the future of Nigeria's oil industry. I'm going to have the chief economist at PwC on the show with me at 5. It's your opportunity to learn something new. We're going to bring you League of Extraordinary Nigerians next, and after that at 4:30 we'll bring you Eyewitness, and then 5 o'clock let's talk about the oil industry. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
Hard Facts will be right back.
Radio like you've never known.
What's up, Lagos? What's up, Lagos? What's up, Lagos?
Radio for everyday people.
This is Samuel Moses from Lekki.
My name is Jimmy from Orita in Ikorodu.
from Abidjan.
This is Moses calling from Ikeja.
The feel of Lagos, from the mainland to the island.
Your first paycheck, what did you do with it?
I gave it to my mother, yeah.
My first paycheck was 150 naira.
What's up, Lagos?
Hi, my name is Collins Deke. Join me every weekday from 9 to 12 on What's Up, Lagos? Yes, you heard me right. It's good radio for beautiful people. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
I love your program, Collins.
Collins, you are doing good.
It's What's Up, Lagos, baby. Get set. Let me tell you about Public Square. There are several lines that meet other edges.
The youth of this country who are already in a disillusioned, disenchanted state will be encouraged.
Where we talk about the fine margins. Sometimes it's black, white, and blurry.
It's also informed by the need to save costs and reduce legislative time.
And then there are the actors, right at the center, coming through political processes, which could be dramatic.
To the extent of this if Parliament does not rise this money.
And controversial.
If driving to the roads is engaging in the macabre, culpability is that of government.
And there's you to help connect the dots from the top to the bottom. Join Rotimi Sankore and Arogo Obo at the Public Square every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. And now the business news.
Central Bank of Nigeria says it has